No, I'm not nervous. No. No.
Okay. It's good. It's good to have someone who's not nervous because
Hi all.
hi Martin.
Hello, sorry, I will be recording this session. Hi Salman. And also, this is live too. So double whammy, as they say.
Amazing.
Salman, why are you not looking nervous? What's your secret?
I think so, Rehan, these questions, Rehan always, asks me on spot, okay, Salman, what do you think about this? And I'm like, so I've already gone through that time,
No time being nervous, huh?
Salman, have you received the background?
I haven't received. Did you email me? Or
No, I just sent it in the chat. In our chat.
Is it? I just...
It's still loading. So should be here. Yes, you should receive it now.
Yes. So how should I, because I don't know how to do this.
Don't worry, I did it for the first time too. You need to go to more actions here on Teams, in the three dots.
Yeah.
And then apply background effects.
I can see it's when I see it's just giving me four create an issue, create a polypoll, create work item, but it doesn't give me the option.
Okay, let me just share my screen so you can see. Okay. It's good to have someone who's not nervous because so here we are.
Hi all.
What's going on? Hi Martin. So can you see
hello,
here the three
sorry,
dots?
I will be recording this session. Hi Salman.
Let me check. You're sharing the screen. Yeah. Okay.
So here are the three dots, and then apply background effects.
Yeah.
And here is add new.
Okay.
So you just choose the background, and then where is it? It says somewhere underneath apply. Right here, apply. And it applied.
All right.
Awesome, great.
Yeah.
Let me stop sharing my screen.
What's this session called again? Discovering digital technology.
Shall we wait a little bit?
I think there should hopefully be a little bit more audience, or is it just us liking us again?
Being inspirational and inspired.
Yes, inspired and inspirational.
We are our biggest fans.
Yay!
Oh, here we go. So, Martin, you're recording the session, right?
I am. And it's also live. I'm gonna put the...
Can you guys admit the access to item?
Yeah, I have. It says admitting.
Mine too.
Same, just need to close my window, sorry Adam. Looks like you have a hard time to get in.
Maybe it has something to do that all three of us clicked on at the same time, or that me.
It's interesting. Again, the same.
Martin!
What?
Thank you for this.
I had to blow my nose. What's wrong with that?
Because you understand that after this, there is literally no reason for us to be stressed. Okay, so what do you think? Shall we start?
No better time like the present. And it's on
That's very
schedule.
true. That's true. So, is everyone ready?
Yes.
Okay, so welcome everyone to this Inspire session. My name is Zoe Kazaku. I am the STEAM crafter in STEAM Hacks at BCU. And in this session, we will do something slightly different to the other Inspire sessions we've done. We'll host a discussion with 4 BCU alumni, current PhD students, who will be taking us through their journey in digital technology. They each represent a different field. Andrea is an expert in digital media and virtual reality, Salman in electronics engineering, Noor in data science and web development, and Martin in high performance computing and image processing. So, shall we start with Andrea? Can you tell us a few things about yourself and what you're working on at the moment?
Yes. So, hi everyone. I am Andrea Blaga. I am a tech lead for digital and VR at the Software House, and I'm currently completing my PhD in human-computer interaction, namely grasping in virtual reality. So I have also been previously teaching at BCU, and this semester I am teaching algorithms and programming at UBB University in Romania.
Okay, Salman?
Yes. For me, it's been, I think, so more than 7 years in BCU. I did my undergraduate in electronics, and now I'm doing my PhD in biomedical engineering, where the project I'm working on is designing a high-tech walking aid, which will help people, who are suffering with lower limb problems. The project I'm working on.
Martin?
Hi. Oh, if I unmute myself, that works better. Hi, my name is Martin, and I'm from Prague, from Czech Republic. I have graduated in computer science here at BCU only last year, and shortly after that I began working as a senior technician also here at BCU and as a tech lead in the software house. And currently I'm working on a few projects in a said software house, and I'm doing my PhD in computational neuroscience, alongside which I teach on computer systems module.
And last but not least, Noor?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Noor Al-Barini. I'm originally from Syria. I'm a tech lead in the software house. And, well, I started BCU 4 years ago. Actually, more than 4 years. I graduated with the first degree honor in computer science. And just a few weeks ago, I finished my master's in big data analytics. Wish me luck with my grades. I also started working at BCU like 2 years ago as a demonstrator and visiting lecturer, and now focusing more about software house.
Awesome. Okay then. So you're all 4 of you are PhD students here at Birmingham City University and working at our software house. But what got you into tech in the first place? Can you remember the moment when you realized that this is the path I want to follow? Andrea?
Yes. I do remember the moment very well. So it all started from a really young age when I started studying programming at school. I remember during our first lesson, the teacher was explaining us what an algorithm is. And she was using as an example making an omelette. So you take the ingredients and follow a set of instructions to perform a specific task. So from then, tech subjects were always the ones where I would be excited to find out more. And I was also motivated to figure out stuff on my own. So it became a passion or a hobby and not just a school subject for which I had to study. So it all came very natural for me. So that's how I knew that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I still agree to that.
Okay. Salman?
So, exactly, I think so. For me too, it started at a very young age. And normally we do listen stories that, when you are very young and you start playing with the wires and stuff as an electronic bit. So I think so same happened with me. I was very young and I used to fix my telephone wires, and I used to open at a very young age. I used to open, those electronic components like just the screw, just to see what's inside there, and used to look. So from the early age, I had this, interest with electronics, and creativity was like, how, okay, well, if we do this, what will happen? I used to open them and connect two different circuits with them, though they never used to work, but just to see, okay, if something would come up. So I think so the main passion behind me going towards electronics was one thing I would like to also mention here, that we're four brothers and all of them are into accounting and business studies, and I was the odd one out in the family who was going towards engineering in this one, and everyone was like, why are you choosing a different field? But I think so I'm sort of like a person who, like, with electronics evolving and new creativity coming in, I like that's the drive for me and keeps me interested with new technology coming in. So that's why I chose electronics, and I think so I came to BCU 8 years ago and started electronic engineering. Yeah.
Awesome. Martin?
Well, I was always passionate about medicine and surgery, to be honest, in particular, whilst computers and gamings and sport were more of my hobbies. But when it was time to pursue medicine back home in Czech Republic, I had to instead join to support our family business. So since those days, I kind of shifted my focus onto computers because I thought, I don't know how am I going to do this now, and into digital technology, and I started to pursue the knowledge further. Fast forward, I arrived to UK with a purpose to study at university, but this time it was more computer oriented. And also I was the first person in my family to go to university, so I was really trying to set a precedence here almost. But however, only since I started studying, I was able to identify very many more opportunities and pathways for the development of my now true passion, computing.
And Noor?
Well, for me, it all started when I was 7 years old, and that's when I got my first PC. I was very happy to have my first PC, and one day it just broke, stopped working. So I got curious how to fix it, and even though I took it to someone else to fix it, but then I got curious how to fix this, what's the technologies being used, and what's are the parts that being used to build that PC. And since then, computing or computer basically became my habit and my future vision. I did my high school in computing, and that's when I started learning about programming languages, very old programming languages like Pascal and Visual Basic, and very old Delphi as well. I still remember that. Once I finished my high school, unfortunately I had to leave my country, and then I moved to Jordan. And there I only studied, I could only study telecommunication engineering. I did that, but at the same time, I didn't stop learning about technologies, computing and programming languages. So I did private courses in web development in 2013, as I remember. And I worked in a small company as a front-end developer. But at the time I arrived to the UK, I always straight was thinking about joining the university, doing the course that I love, which was computer science, and start learning about my habit, my future vision, and start developing the knowledge and the skills that I need actually to develop. Well, that's my journey in tech in a very short sentence, I guess.
Okay, so this is how you first got interested in technology. And then why did you choose the particular course that each of you chose? Andrea?
Yeah. So, apart from my passion for programming and technology, I always had the creative side and I wanted to explore that to some extent. So, when I read about the digital media computing course at BCU, I thought it would be the perfect fit for me, a mix between technology and digital media, where I would improve both my technical and creative skills, and that's how it really was. So, I'm really happy with my choice.
Good. Salman?
Yeah, so as I said, continuing from what previously I said, with my passion for electronics, I needed to know those skills that, how are these things are making, electronics part of it. So that's why I sort of like started my, in 2013 it was, electronic engineering from BCU. And I remember at that time, even now, but at that time, electronic engineering, especially at BCU, was very one of those popular subjects. So that's where I started in 2013. Yeah.
And you, Martin?
Well, as I said, I came here to study, so I was very keen to start. However, I didn't really have an idea of what's possible in the tech world. I came from hospitality, so I didn't know what's possible and what isn't. But what I knew from the structure of medicine that I was so much interested in is that one tends to start more in general sense, and then as you go along in your career, you specify a little bit further. So after reading about very many courses, computer science seems like that was exactly what I was looking for, because it was quite general with many opportunities to specialize. But it was due to one more reason though. The reason is that I never programmed before and I wasn't sure if I can do it and how much I like it. Hence computer science showed me, and it offered more opportunities in various roles around software lifecycle.
That is the stage for me.
No?
Well, as I mentioned, computing and programming are my passion, my habits. So, looking at the technologies and the growing of the technologies every day, the development that's happening in the world our days, it's always like keep me thinking about how can I develop my skills to really cope with these new technologies, to actually innovate or create something creative. So looking at the course at BCU that I've done, basically I thought this is the course for me. This is the course that will make me develop my skills and knowledge about computing. And since then, I'm very happy for what I've done and the choice that I made.
Okay, so as I understand, all four of you are quite happy that you made the choice you did.
Yes.
As I understand. And did your course enable you to follow your career path? I mean, did you get opportunities, or did you have to make everything from scratch? And by the way, I'm sorry that I'm asking you in the same order every time. It's just how your emojis are arranged in my screen. So, Andrea?
Yeah. So, yes, during my course, not only did I develop my technical and creative skills as I wanted to, but also my experience with BCU enabled me to showcase my work. So it wasn't only about learning something, but also about interacting with others and learn from others and understand the power of innovation. And that is through Innovation Fest, which I'm a big fan of. So I have participated during my undergraduate and postgraduate years. And I must say it played a very important role in achieving my goals. As it always motivates me to have the opportunity to showcase my work and get expert feedback on it. So it was during my course when I learned that research and innovation are one of my passions, and therefore chose this career path, being a tech lead at Software House and completing my PhD in computing. So it did have a huge influence, and I wouldn't be here without it. So yeah.
And actually, you've won Innovation Fest, right? Is it just once or more times?
I won more than once. I won different prizes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. And speaking of Innovation Fest and winners, Salman, you're also the winner of last year's Santander Steam Pitch contest, part of Innovation Fest. So I guess you can relate with Andrea, although this came as you were already in your PhD, but.
Yeah, I think so. I would agree with Andrea because, this Innovation Fest has been, since in 2013, I remember back that time, I think so it was the second year of Innovation Fest. And it was quite, motivating for us, it was a bit eye-opening in a way because like a student like me, coming from Pakistan and, though at that time I didn't showcase something really big. But the experience I had was amazing. The judges, which flew from, I don't know, so many different countries. I remember it was 30 different, places they came from. And it was such a big event. And, showcasing yourself, it was a good experience. And it sort of like sets your vision that, okay, now, this is where I want to be later on in the future. So yes, and previous to your question, that this course enable, I think so. I would 100% agree with this. By the time I finished my electronics engineering and I started my PhD, I think so because of that course which I finished, it gave me all the skills which was needed to start, the project. I started my PhD. All those, engineering skills and all those, work we need to do with the project. So I do agree with your question that yes, the course has, played a vital role from where I am right now.
Okay, and so this is actually something that I would also like to ask you because I'm also looking to do my PhD at some point in the near future. So how was transitioning from being undergrad students to PhD and realizing that you're moving from consuming knowledge to producing knowledge? How was this? How did this feel, Martin?
Well, so for me, I actually started my PhD quite recently. I was doing part-time for some time, but I only started in August. So I think I'm still in this transitioning stage, and it is nothing but confusion. It does get quite easy to get engrossed in what I do and kind of forget actually that not everyone knows the same amount of the information that I do. And so I'd say actually the teaching is what helps me at least a lot in accepting this feeling of being an expert, where I'd be studying something long enough and deeply enough to then say something which maybe other people may consider meaningful or helpful or even just interesting.
Noor?
Well, being an expert in your field, start getting the knowledge and then becoming an expert in that thing, in that like the information or like in the skills, and it's something that we all do all the time. Practical example is like what you do in life. Every step that you take, you actually learn something, and you get expert in that one. And from one to one, you're becoming expert in so many things, and looking backward, you actually being proud of what you've done, and that will actually, it should make us as a human being grateful and try to help the others who are struggling to make any step forward.
And can you remind me what is your field? Your PhD, is it in smart cities?
Well, my PhD is going to be in smart cities domain, like especially in artificial intelligence, basically.
Okay. And you, Andrea?
So I want to tell Martin that it's perfectly normal to be confused at the beginning, as I'm now closer to completing my PhD. I want to say that that's perfectly normal and that will get better. So hang in there.
Thank you.
So yeah, I must say that the PhD is a journey, and sometimes you feel like a student struggling to finish an assignment, and then you feel like an expert in your field presenting and answering questions about your work. But the best feeling is when you get positive feedback from experts in the field and get your work published. So that's when you build the confidence and motivation that's really needed in the moment you go back to feeling like a lost student. So enjoy these moments. And for me, the transition was really smooth. Teaching also contributed to this process, as I learned a lot from my students and got inspired and saw everything from different perspectives, really. So yeah, completing a PhD is a long, hard road, but as long as you're passionate about your work, you can overcome the challenges and enjoy the journey, basically.
Yes.
And Salman, what about your research and all this innovation is going on?
Yeah. I think so, if we just, first I would like to say the transition for myself, it was a bit challenging. Jumping from as an undergraduate, then skipping the masters and going on to directly to PhD, it was a bit challenging. Not challenging in a way that I couldn't manage the programming or the technical bits part of it. But the other side of it, I think so. I don't know about Andrea, this one, right? Because my weaker side was a bit with the writing part of it, and scientific writing. I found that a bit challenging, writing those journal papers and, those conference paper. But beside that, I would agree with, Andrea that, as Martin and, Muhammad, if you're starting now, starting time is a bit, you feel quite pressure because you're new to it. And I would relate it to those days, if, just to give you an example. Like if you start your undergraduates and it looks like, you are a bit, scared and how it's going to go. But once you go in the flow, it's just like a go in the flow and you start to enjoying it. So I had the same experience in myself that, in the starting was panicking. Whoa, it's quite because it's time. PhD is like, whoa, everyone's like, whoa, you're doing PhD. So you get scared, whoa, PhD. But I think so once you go with the flow, you feel now like, because as Andrea is about to quite near finishing, I'm in my final year too. So I see those there and I say, okay, it is challenging, but I was just stressing. I made PhD a big monster that I can't do it, in the starting. But I think so, it is possible. It's just go with the flow, a bit more challenging, obviously, but you enjoy it. And as Andrea was saying that, you become more expert and you with time, you don't realize it, but other will tell you. And what happened is like example. A few days ago, I was having a super meeting with my supervisory team, and the knowledge I was telling regarding my area, and my supervisor was like, "Oh, Salman, you are more expert than all of us now." I was like, so I took it as a big compliment. There was a time I didn't know anything. Now I know like a lot better than other people. So I think so. It's a good journey, and you will enjoy it.
So obviously, PhD is always original research and exploring paths that no one has discovered before. But what would you say that is novel about your research? For example, Andrea?
Yeah, so my research focuses on interaction in virtual reality. So I'm looking at grasping specifically, and what I am trying to solve is the problem of natural interaction in VR environments. So instead of using controllers, we should use our hands in order to have everything more natural and to allow the development of systems that can train surgeons, can be trained in the military. There are lots of areas where VR is currently used, but we lack the natural interaction. So that's where my work comes in.
Fascinating. Salman?
So at this stage, because of the patent, I'm not allowed too much to say, but a few things I would like to mention here is that, obviously in the starting, you couldn't figure out, I didn't figure out my novel part of it, but once I spent the time with it, I looked what were the research gaps. And now just to give a broad solution to it, I sort of have made a solution where the patients now, as I said earlier, that I'm working on a high-tech walking aid. Now, previously, even currently now, the users have to go to the clinic to get their tests done. So now with my walking aid, the novel part of it, the amazing part of it, which is the secret ingredient, I say, is that within their home they can do those tests, and the test results can be viewed by the allied health professional. So that's one of the many novel things which I have sort of like included in my project.
Oh, Martin?
What is it that I'm working on right now? Well, because like we mentioned, I'm still at the beginning stages, so I'm still, as someone just mentioned, looking for that novelty. I'm still not exactly sure what it is or where to look even sometimes. But I know one thing. Because I happen to work in my PhD with magnetic resonance imaging of human brains, that was actually invented in Nottingham, which is where my supervisor comes from, and then he was working in Cambridge. So despite being confused, I do know already that I am having the privilege to work with the best people on the planet in this, with the actual almost inventors of this. So yes, I'm not always sure, but at least I'm conscious enough to always have my eyes and ears open, so I'm just listening. And it looks like, I can't probably say for certain yet, but it looks like I may have found something. So there are a set of, say, algorithms that processing these images, and I managed to publish a paper from my bachelor's dissertation where I found out that depending on which algorithm you use, they report different results. So that actually may potentially have a really good impact. So hopefully this will lead somewhere.
Awesome. And you, Noor?
Well, for me, I'd say like it started from my master's project, basically, because it's carrying out from where I finished my master's. It's about new technologies that's been produced, that's been introduced by Google in 2016, and that knowledge, algorithm, basically called federated learning, is to, well, the idea at the end, the idea is to how to actually make the data more private and more secure. That's the aim of the project, and also not to share the data with so many third parties. That's one of the things, and enhancing the engagement of citizen, because in my research we will be focusing more on citizen than other things. So basically in smart city domain, the focus will be more on citizen, the engagement of the citizen with the services, improving their lifestyle, basically by using their data correctly and more efficiently. So I guess it's all about citizen at the end.
Very anthropocentric approach. Okay, and so now you're all four of you are tech leads in the software house in Birmingham City Software House. Can you tell us a bit more about your role and expertise and the projects that you're involved in? Martin?
Well, so as a tech lead, I think it practically gives it away in the name. But my role is not only technically understand non-technical needs of an end user, but also to interact between them and developers in different, and I would almost go ahead and say, if not all other aspects of business. I'd say that part is almost mechanical in a way. That's the bit of the juicy technological advancements and research and all the cool stuff that we're here for. Yet always it reminds me that I only possess the view of a technical person, which makes me think that there is a big need from people from all the backgrounds, especially non-technical people. So not necessarily technical people can be part of the companies like Software House. I think there's big need for that. So the part of my role that gives me the feeling of accomplishment, however, is to learn and actually practice how to be a leader that can add value in people's lives and that can help them achieve their dreams and motivation. And I feel very grateful to have this opportunity, and I'm hoping to be doing my best in the future in this.
Yes, because of course, as lead tech lead, you're also leading our students who are less experienced. So you're leading teams, right?
Of course. And I just quickly mention here that we have, or at least I have, a very good example from this, and that is my own leader, which is Rehan. So thank you.
Oh. What about you, Andrea? What about your role in the software house?
So my role at Software House is tech lead for digital and VR. And here I get the chance to use both my creative and tech side for every project we work on, which is exactly what I've always aspired to do. So I did not start working at Software House as a tech lead, so getting here was a journey. And I'm still learning and developing my leadership skills. And I am sure I can speak for the whole team here that we learn this every day from our leader, mentor, and friend Rehan, who strives to make sure we have the opportunity to fulfill our full potential and always has our back, inspires us, and shows us every day by example what being a good leader means.
Oh.
I'm sure he's somewhere there in the back, blushing. What about you, Salman?
So it's been a great experience, to be honest. I think so. It's the 4th month since I have been the tech lead for the I'm leading the electronics department of the tech lead. So it's been really good. So I sort of like manage all those. For example, if we are working on a project, so we have different tech leads sitting in front of you right now. So the work is divided. Like software side is going to take their work on the project. So the hardware side, that's where I sort of like that's where I come in. And the work, it's been the project's been so amazing. And this one project live buzz we have been doing, we're about to nearly quite finishing it. So the idea behind all of what I have noticed, the idea behind this software house is that passing on the knowledge, and that is really, I think, so good, because it's not just me working on one project or the tech leads. What the main idea, what I've seen is that, make for example, our second years, our first year, and try to get them involved somehow in the projects, the real projects which we are facing. And that not only give them motivation, but, it increases their knowledge. And I think so everyone was mentioning about Rehan, so I wouldn't shy away from saying this, because Rehan, I think so all of our, the people who are sitting here, I think so I personally, it's as I said, my 8th year. So, as they say in our PhD, that, you are a wild horse, a wild running horse, and your supervisors are basically there to make sure you guys are on the right track. So I think so for my 8-year journey, I have been like a wild horse. So Rehan has been keeping me, okay, you should go there, directing me. So where I am right now, I think so I will pay, Rehan and, people like Hanifa big credit, for where I am right now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you, Noor?
Well, I agree, of course, with my friends and my colleagues. Basically, for me, I think it started when I started with the software house as a web developer. It's also started by Rehan, who brought me to the software house. Well, moving from there, after getting experience, I got to be like a tech lead. I would actually say, like in few words, that it calls software house, and Rehan made it for us a house that he's like a father who's taking care of his kids, and he's guiding them, he's always leading them to the right way, to the right route. So that's what Rehan basically made software house for us. We always work as a family. We work as a team. He taught us how to be like a team, collaborate together, try to be creative, all of us together. If someone of us did something wrong, he doesn't. He always try to motivate us, guide us to not to do the same mistake again, or like to avoid the mistake. That's what software house is about. That's what Rehan is actually doing in there for us. And I actually thank you, Rehan, for everything you've done for us, and and for everything you're still doing.
Oh, I really think he must have blushed so much right now. Actually, the software house is an interesting bit. The fact that all four of you are tech leads, because personally, as Martin, I've been part of the software house since the very beginning, when it was just a summer internship. And we've watched it evolve into what it is today. And to me, the software house reflects, in a way, the student journey. Initially having students with not significant professional experience to help with projects, and then slowly being able to move to, to developers and then senior developers. And then once they're ready to moving on to being tech leads, and then leading the next generation. So I don't know. I think that's a very inspiring thing about the software house.
Yeah,
it's the cycle of life.
Yes. Okay, so I think we've pretty much talked about, what inspired you to take into tech, what your studies enable you to do, your research, and your role in the software house. Now, what about, is there anything else you would do differently? Would you do anything differently in your journey? And is there a piece of advice that you would like to give to, current students? Andrea?
This is a really hard question. And I must say that while I could do things differently, as there is always room for improvement, I like to think about it this way. So whatever I did during my journey, it got me where I am today, where I can work harder to get better, improve my skills, and achieve my goals for the future. So one advice that I would give people aspiring to get into tech is to set goals, work hard to achieve them. And I hope this won't be too cheesy, but there is a quote that I love and I would like to share it with you. Always go the extra mile, it's never crowded. So I think that would be the best thing to follow if you want to get into of your dreams.
Awesome. Salman?
I agree with Andrea. This is a bit of a challenging question. Doing something beside this one. To be honest, I didn't thought about it, but I think so. My parents have thought about it, and as I said, all of them, we have they are my brothers, and all of them are into accounting and business side of it. They would have pushed me there. That all right, come and help us with the business. So that would have been a different route. One advice I would like to give to the people regarding aspiring into tech is that I started my journey and I had so many challenges. I think so. People here like Hanifa, Rehan, they were throughout my journey with the hardship I was facing during my undergraduate. And there was a time, and I've also mentioned before that that I was on the verge of quitting the universities because of financial issues, because of some other personal issues. But the thing I did was I never gave up. People around me, they were like saying that, this is not possible. You can't do it. It's not possible. I never used to argue with them. I never used to say, no, it is possible. I used to keep it quiet. But in my heart, I used to say that, it's not in your hands. I will try my best. I will put all my efforts and just leave it. Let's see how it go with the flow. And that's where I think so now I look at where I am right now, and the opportunities came throughout the way, and the wrong turns, which were people the dead ends, which were looking like I can't make it through, and from there I found out ways, and it's been an amazing journey. Don't worry, in the future if you see a book published by me, so you'll find the details in there.
To be continued then. Martin? Sorry?
Good marketing for the future book.
Differently. It's always great to have the benefit of hindsight, isn't it? Well, on my journey, knowing what I know now, I think I would definitely attend more hackathons, to be honest, and networking events, because I was not well, I wouldn't say necessarily I was having like a financial difficulties, but I was quite consumed at work while I was studying because so I didn't have to have those financial difficulties. So it would be even better if I could, if I could spare some time to go onto these hackathons. Regardless, though, I have been to quite few, and at this point, I probably have helped organize as much as I attended, if not more. And the advice I would like to give to people that would like to get into tech, but also not only to tech, I think other place, any place, is to take time and think. I really like what Salman said, because there will be naysayers always. There's plenty of those on every corner. So I think it's really important to quiet down for yourself for a little bit and think about what is it that you really, really want. Especially technology is really very rapidly evolving and competitive field, which right now I would say it's spans into virtually all the other fields. There is no way that you can find something to do without technology being involved. So I think it's almost needed to realize what you want, because you need to gain that passion that we've been talking about all day today and enjoy what you do. And I think the greatest benefit of going through this is that the technology can actually make most of those things you can think of possible.
You didn't guys leave me anything to say.
Try anyway.
All right, I'll do my best. Well, today to do something differently, I would do what I studied, I would definitely not do anything other than studying computing, because it's my habit and my passion. One thing I would do differently actually, or I would actually involve myself more in it, which was Innovation Fest. I participated in Innovation Fest in my final year in my undergrad, and I liked the way that you actually can be creative, can be competitive, and how you can compete with the others. So that environment is actually makes the student creative, try to predict more, try to produce more, and so on. Well, about studying technology, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but anything in this life is going to be hard. But it's going to be hard, but with the hard work, it's going to worth it at the end. It will, like, whatever you will do, you will study, the hard work in there you will do, it will pay off at the end in different fields. And the one cool thing about computing or technology in general, you don't have to specifically work on one thing. You can work there's so many routes for technologies, and networking, programming, designing, whatever. So there's so many routes, so you don't stuck on one route. That's the cool thing about technology. I got to a time where I was about to give up, but thankfully I didn't, and I actually am proud that I didn't give up, because thinking about it now, actually it motivates me to do more. And that's my advice to the others, all the students who would actually study computing or studying computing. Don't ever give up. It can be hard, but it's not impossible. So the word itself, like impossible, it says itself. I am possible. So it will be, and you will at some point you'll achieve it, and you will pass it, and you will be successful one day.
Mm-hmm. I just maybe want to quickly say this is interesting that you noted, and Salman I think did. I think maybe all of us have thought of quitting at some point. That's very normal, and it happens in everything, not just university. It's going to happen at your work, in your hobbies, in your passions, everywhere. So I think don't let this get into you. You will always think at some point you want to quit something. It's important to push through, and then you will be like Noor. You will always be able to say, I'm grateful that I did not.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think this has been a great conversation, and I feel, although obviously we know each other, I think that I've got to know a lot more for you about you. So that's been really nice. I would say let's end this session with something cool about each. I mean, as if you weren't cool enough being PhD students and tech leads. Let's finish with one very cool thing about each one of you. So, for example, what about you, Noor? I know that you've appeared on BBC, haven't you? Can you tell us about this?
Well, the thing is, one thing that I think most of the people, they don't know about me, even who knows me, when I came to this country, I didn't speak any word in English. So it took me 3 months only to do the IELTS test, to pass it and to be able to join the university and speak fluently like I've been here for so many years.
Oh.
And I was, well, as a refugee here in the UK, trying all the time to make the vision about refugees, like to correct the image about refugees and what can refugees do, what they are actually achieving at the moment. And that's one of the things that actually we're trying to present all the time in the House of Parliament, and try to push to increase the English lessons for refugees here. That's what I'm trying all to do with the help of organization called Refugee Action. Their head office actually in London. So all the time we're trying to basically just trying to help the community, try to help the refugees here, and the others as well who can't actually speak English. So trying to push it more to the House of Parliament to increase the hours of learning English, and that's what I'm trying to do all the time. And most importantly, to correct the actual image about refugees here, what they can do and what they actually are doing at the moment.
That's such an incredible cause to fight for. Amazing. Okay, so Andrea.
Yeah.
I know. Well, actually, you're not the only one in this team here, but you alongside 2 more here. You flew this year in January to Thessaloniki, Greece, to represent BCU in another hackathon.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about this?
Yeah. So first of all, it was an amazing experience. So it was a hackathon organized by PhD Hub, and it was the theme was innovation in the tourism industry. So it was we were organized in teams to create solutions for the tourism industry for Thessaloniki or Greece in general. It was a really good experience since it reminded me of my Erasmus year. So it was great meeting people from different countries and working alongside them. And even if it was just a couple of days, you got to make friends and know people from different places and see different perspectives and work with them. And it was a really good experience, at least from my point of view. But Noor and Martin joined me with that, so they can also agree or disagree.
Agree.
But
Noor, do you agree as well? Because we know you got slightly competitive in Thessaloniki.
I'm always trying to compete with her.
Yeah, but the interesting part.
I'm trying to be like on your level. You know?
We were competing against each other, but there were lots of teams in there. But
competing with each other, and both of us competing with the others as well.
Yeah.
So between us as a team, we actually, well, I try always all the time. Me, Andrea, and the other team. What we're trying to do is try to make like competitive environments. So all of us try to be more creative, to predict more, and try to like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. So we're trying actually to make things more fun, creative, and more productive.
Yeah, so this competition really motivates us, even if sometimes it doesn't. It sounds like a very competitive type of thing, but it's a motivation.
Yes, and it was a great bonding experience as well.
Yeah.
For the team. And Martin, I know you've told me at some point that you've been to China as part of an international internship program, right?
Indeed.
So
this was really amazing because I wanted to travel, I think, as everybody does, but at some point I thought, how can I make it so that I can travel through work? Because that's a little bit better always to me as a holiday almost. So I was lucky enough that at that time I was a placement student here at Birmingham City University, and we are having a partner university, two of them actually, in Wuhan in China, and it was time for us to strengthen the relationships. And we also, what we do, we exchange students. So we wanted to take some of our students to go to China, see the facilities, see the culture, see the surroundings, so they can make a decision if they want to study there, but also to bring it back to England and talk to other people and inspire others to make such decisions. And so I was lucky enough to be selected as a staff member at that time to look after these students. So that really helped me because it was a new environment for me. It was just me and one more staff member. So it was kind of a responsibility as well. And I really enjoyed it. I have tested my skill in rapidly adapting to new environments because I kind of felt the responsibility for the students. I wanted them to not be panicky like I was, so I wanted to cushion their experience a little bit. And I think at the end was actually a success because I made two friends. I made more than two friends, but two of those friends that I made, they actually end up coming back, not with us, but later on, and they, I believe, still studying at BCU, and we're still talking, and it's amazing.
Oh, awesome. So last but not least, sorry, I think Salman, you're muted. So I did mention briefly about how you were the winner of the STEAM Pitch contest this year. Part of this, the prize for this contest was incubation funding, so support for you to develop your business and your patent. So can you tell us where you are with this? How are things going?
So it's been amazing. I think the journey has been amazing because I don't know if you were aware of it. Last month, I was competing in a national competition where I had the opportunity, and it was a privilege for me that I was representing BCU there, and it was very competitive, the competition itself. And prior to that one, 3 months we spent in different workshops, basically entrepreneurial, they were giving us that part of the knowledge. And in that part, I was working with the STEAM incubator, and that was really good for me because those people inside those STEAM incubator, those are the people who have vast experience in bringing services and products to the market. So it was so much for me to learn from them, and every day because I was preparing for the competition, and the time I was spending with them, everything, it was like. Because my side, I've spent time in engineering with, so I didn't know the business side of it. So it was really, really good experience, working in the STEAM incubator with wonderful people like Richard, and it was a really, really good experience. And one thing again, I would like to say that it was a privilege for me to represent a BCU because the love for BCU, I have, it's been amazing that, it's as I said, it's my 8th year. And, during those time, I had opportunities to even, to go to different, university. But, I think so BCU, it feels like I'm like part of a big family, and, going away from it, it just, it's hard,
Oh, don't go away.
Yeah, it's just the love people have given is amazing,
Yeah.
Yeah, stay with us.
I'm sure everyone would, agree with me on this one,
Actually, I agree with you, Salma. BCU environment, I swear, it's just it's like a house for us.
Yeah.
I want to stay there, even though I want to finish my PhD and stay there. I don't mind. It's like a house for me.
Second home.
Agreed. Is there a more inspirational tone to finish on? So thank you so much for this session. I really enjoyed it. Hope you did too. And yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.